Greetings. Last night we had a big event, had a concert last night, so we got on the road as soon as it was over, in the rain and everything. Come see the guys. So we were fresh off the road, so I hate that I missed the first part, but I have heard that it was great, so hopefully I can get some notes or something. Today, when I was asked to speak a couple of months ago, actually it was last year sometime, and I was kind of just like in awe because I'm like, oh my God, somebody asking me to come and speak to them. And then a group of women, like, okay, what am I supposed to talk about? And I pondered on that for a really, really, really long time. A little brief background. I graduated from the University of Alabama this past May, 2013. I hold my bachelor's in public relations with an emphasis on entertainment and music. And I have 2 master's degrees underway now, one in youth ministry and one in strategic communication. So I'm fresh out of school, fresh graduate from college, and I'm like, what am I supposed to talk to these grown women about? And so I'm just not getting, acclimated to this stuff myself. And the biggest thing that I feel like we all can relate to as women is some type of fear, some type of doubt. I know for me, fear was one of the biggest things I think I had to overcome for myself and what I wanted to do. And just bringing the current up to date. I work as a contemporary specialist for Divas Corporation in Little Rock, which is based and headquartered out of Little Rock, Arkansas. And so coming from PR, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's just, I'm basically the face of everything that you got going. If, someone needs a speech written, I'm like, okay, I got it, send it out. Somebody has an album release, I'm writing it up, send it out. And basically just a whole networking field. And so 4 years I was in school struggling to get, above water. First in my family to go to college, and so it's all this kind of just pressure on me to just do the right thing. And as soon as I graduate, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this job, and I'm going to be good in PR, and I'm going to be making this money. And I couldn't find anything. And so I find myself in this situation where I'm just like, okay, struggling through school, get this degree, and now I'm working at the mall. And this is my sister right here, Tiffany, and this is my friend Ari. And I constantly have conversations with them all the time, just how much I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job. I want to quit my job. This is not what I went to school to do. I didn't go to school for 4 years and struggle to work at the mall. Like, this is just crazy. And I had to take a step back and really reevaluate where I was and what I wanted to do. And with that, in the way that I was searching for jobs before I ended up coming up with the mall job as a contemporary specialist, I was interviewing with all these different companies because I just did not want to go back to Arkansas. That was a big thing on my list too. I went to college out of state. I'm not coming back home and fellowshipping with these people I went to high school with. I'm on to bigger and better things. And it's like God had a totally different plan for me. And that brings me back to the fact, things that we see in the natural is not altogether what He has going on. And the Bible says His timing is perfect, and it's almost like, all these experiences and things that I've encountered thus far, at 23 years old, it's grown me to be more of a woman, to have more of an appreciation for what I have going. And so with that, fear. I just got through reading Terrence J's book. I don't know if you guys have read it before, but it's The Wealth of My Mother's Wisdom. If you haven't read it, it's a good book to go get. $15 and best investment I think I've ever made in my life. He talks about fear basically the whole book. He says growing up, his mom always instilled in him, don't be scared of nobody. He said one day a boy took his bike, and he said he was just so scared to go back and get that bike. And his mom was like, you better go get that bike, and because that's yours, don't let nobody scare you from what's yours, And he said that's one thing that really stuck with him. And when I was reading that, I was like, that's like a mantra for life. Like, don't let no one scare you from what you got going on. When I was looking for a job, I was applying to all these different blog sites and entertainment companies and all that stuff. I felt like I had such a great resume with such great internship experience. And clearly it wasn't good enough, And so with that, I interviewed with a blog site, and she was like, yeah, It's unpaid internship, and I need you to write 3 to 4 stories a day for me, and I'll let you pick from one of the 3 topics that I got. You got gossip, you got music and fashion, and I'm like, why am I writing for somebody? I'm not gonna write for myself. You know, I'm putting in hours of time writing and editing my own stuff for you to post mine like it's not even my work, and I can do that myself, you know. And so when I thought about that, I was like, you know what? Being a professional, there's plenty of people like me that are 22, 23, fresh out of school, and don't have a job like that they see themselves having. And so I thought on it, never blogged a day in my life, okay? And I said, you know what? This is something I'm going to do in my spare time just as a hobby. And when I picked it up as a hobby, it became like a passion. I went from taking selfies on Instagram to posting internship postings from different places. I went from, you know, taking pictures of my new shoes that I just bought to, you know, my whole way of thinking just shifted. And I feel like it was just God-given and birthed to me at the right time that it needed to be. I feel like my idea that I had with the Link Up, which is just like a platform for young professionals to link up together like we're doing now, and encourage each other. You know, be that positive feedback that we don't have that often. And I know you guys know as women, we don't have that a lot at all. You know, and so for us to even be in a room like this, it's just like, I'm holding back my tears now. I'm not even looking at you guys because I'm just like, this is like mind-blowing to me. Because this is powerful, you know. Y'all excuse me.
It's all right.
She's a cry.
I
knew she was a cry. She knew she was going to
My
cry.
mom told me when I was coming up here, she was like, you know, I had the concert last night. She was like, you know, you really don't need to be going up there late on the road like that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Mom, I know, but I told them I was going to come. And if I don't come, Kawana and Kimberly, I'm going to kick my butt. I can't just not go. Like, you know, and I felt like it was just, and we battled with this for like a week. And my mom was like, well, I'm not going. And I was like, Mom, I'm sorry, you don't got to go. But, you know, I'm going to go. And this was my first decision, like, against, like, my parents' better judgment. And when I got here, we came in at, like, 11 o'clock? I was like, hey, Mom, I made it. She was like, I'm so glad you made it. She said, I've been praying. Me and, you know, your dad's been up talking all night long. And she was just like, you know, I really hate that I couldn't come. She said, because my feelings as a mom was in it. She said, but seeing past, like, how I feel right now, what you're doing is so amazing at 23. And I took that to heart because I'm like, God, you was just like, finna cuss me out about it. You know? And now I know that it's come full circle. And that's another thing, you know. And I'm totally off of what I was talking about, but this is just coming. As women, it's important to be that encouragement and that thing to bounce off of. I was reading something the other day, me and my brother were out to eat, and I had told me, it ran across me on Instagram, and it was like, the 5 people that you hang around the most are the 5 people that you become like. And I'm like, whatever, you know. And we were celebrating her birthday, and I'm with my brother, and I'm just like, whatever. He was like, you totally act like me. I was like, no, I don't, you know. And we sitting up bouncing in church, and she was like, he walked away from her, she was like, you're definitely starting to act like Jade. You know, and so it's crazy because I pick up all these different things from each other. And so when you have the opportunity to come together like this, and which I'm sure all you guys will probably leave from here and be texting and Instagramming each other just like how we were leading up to this. And, you know, it's important that you keep that network a circle because the thing about it, you're going to get so discouraged sometimes with things that you're doing, ideas that you have, things that you want to pursue, and it's just like, you need that. And, you know, I want to be able to call Kim and be like, girl, so this, that. And I am just so frustrated with work. She's just like, girl, what did you say last week? And I'm like, okay, you're right. You know, and you want to be able to have that sisterhood and that connection of where it pushes you and propels you to be a bigger and better person. So back to fear. Fear, Terrence J's mom defined fear as false evidence appearing real. And when she broke it down like that, I was like, girl, you better speak, you know? And so when you think about it, the things that we encounter on a day-to-day basis, you know, you're afraid of what somebody may say. You're afraid of what somebody may think. You're afraid you probably won't have that support that you think you may have. And you're afraid that somebody may be on the other side of the planet, y'all in Dallas, and somebody in freaking LA may have the same idea as you. But guess what? They're not going to hustle and grind it out like you. And one thing that I tell people all the time, and it's not to be cocky, but I know what I'm capable of. And one thing about it, you may be way smarter than me. You may be way prettier than me. You may be a lot more older and a lot more mature. But one thing that y'all won't do, and which if y'all do, prove me wrong, you won't outwork me. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody in this room should have that same type of mentality. Because when you have that, you just like, somebody get with you on your day, that's just not your day, it don't even matter. You straight. You know what I'm saying? You good. You know, next. And that's the type of mentality that I feel like, just like I said, everybody should have, because it brings about a whole nother countenance about yourself. It exudes confidence. You know, when we confident, we sexy and we bad. You know what I mean? So it's fear. I think the biggest thing is the doubt, the fear about you being scared, afraid of yourself. And that's one thing that I encountered a lot. You're afraid of what you may not accomplish. You know, we set goals. And one thing that I do say about setting goals, and I was talking to my sister earlier about it today, people need to be realistic with their goals. Don't overshoot, you know, your goals. Keep it in a range to where you can X off and know that you really did something. You know, I think when you set the bar high, everybody says that's great. But the thing about it, starting off like from scratch, you want to set them kind of at a nice little pace to where you know that I'm hitting them left and right. Oh, did that today, gotcha. You know, and you want to have that sense of accomplishment, that sense of, dang, I knocked that out today. You know, being realistic with the goals. Let me look back at my notes, because when I'm looking at y'all, I'm just like talking. Let me see. All right. Basically, I'm going to go through 3 things real fast that kind of bounces off that fear factor, is what I'm going to call it. Decades of research on achievement suggests that successful people reach their personal and professional goals not simply because of who they are, but often from what they do. So daily, when you wake up in the morning, what do you do something in the morning when you wake up?
Well, it takes a long time to get up.
Yes.
Like, I check my phone.
And when you check your phone, do you go first to your email, first to your text messages?
Text.
See, that's something that you may change. You know what I'm saying? I know me, I can't go a minute without checking my email. Refreshing, you know, and that's a habit that we all do, just like, you know, wake up, let me